Between 12 new hypercharges, a large set of balance changes, and an entire rework for every gadget, it has been a race in Brawl Stars to see who can adapt the fastest. At a pro level, solving the meta is the difference between an early exit and winning thousands of dollars. I've casted Brawl Stars professionally for over 3 years, and this is easily one of the trickiest metas I think we've ever had to draft in. But sometimes it only takes one brawler to catch opponents off guard and make a run. In East Asia's $35,000 monthly finals tournament, this rang true. ZETA Division, a team consisting of Shitampo, arguably the best mechanical player in the world, Suzuku, and Levi were expected to be a contender in the region before the season started. However, they fell short in month 1 with a loss in the semifinals 1-3 versus Reject. The pressure was already high enough with an early loss in month 1 and all the changes happening in Brawl Stars, but as fate would have it, ZETA Division would be facing Crazy Raccoon in the quarterfinals, who were last month's champions. Not to mention, this match was personal. Shitampo played with CR for 2 years and won a world championship in 2021 with Tensai. Additionally, if ZETA Division lost, they would have no chance at the Brawl Cup, a $50,000 mid-season LAN tournament where the best teams from the world will compete. Pro players had to quickly adjust for this monthly finals and find winning draft strategies in only a couple weeks. A few things about this meta were instantly clear. First, Hank is a must ban, which saying out loud is still crazy. Any team not picking first basically had to lock out Hank, otherwise his hypercharge would take over a game. Hank's name was called many times as he was banned 71% of sets globally and played 14 times with a 71% win rate. After Hank, a handful of brawlers were seen as key bans and brawlers, including support brawlers Poco and Barry, new hypercharge brawlers B and Mr. P, Lou, a crucial tank counter and control brawler, and Ollie, a beneficiary of the latest balance changes. With so many relevant brawlers, pros had to get real creative about how they tackled each map and draft. ZETA Division took these common discoveries into their opening match, which was one of the most anticipated matches of the year so far. They opened up with a 2-0 victory on pit stop, but quickly lost their lead by dropping the next sets without picking up a single game. One more set loss and ZETA Division could kiss their tournament lives and any chance at the Brawl Cup goodbye. Set 4 was Hard Rock Mine, a long-time map in Brawl Stars, and ZETA Division had the first pick. They locked in B, a safe first pick that can handle tanks, be a dependable mid, and frustrate enemies with the cycling Rattled Hive gadget. CR respond with Max and Carl. This isn't that crazy since it's East Asia and Max is a very popular brawler over there, a safe and dependable mid, and honestly, Carl's gotten a lot more love recently, not due to his hypercharge, but due to the heat ejector gadget, which has a pretty solid cooldown. Surge is pick 4, which isn't a stretch. He's a solid way to deter tanks, a very good lane matchup, and does particularly well into Carl. At this point to me in the draft, you have to either go for health points or something aggressive, otherwise you're just going to get run over. A lot of moving parts here. I think a lot of it's going to be dictated by what this 5th pick is. ZETA Division have a big decision, and they're going with Shade. That is not what I saw coming, but it is something that they've scrimmed quite a bit.
You got B as a 10 counter, Surge as a 10 counter, and you pick Shade. I don't understand it.
Like Ark mentions, to pick Shade over Ollie and Ashe is a huge statement about the belief ZETA have in this brawler. Shade surprised many, but ZETA had been training with him a lot, and as the world would soon find out, for good reason. So why is Shade just now showing up? Shade was released on November 28th, 2024, which is hard for me to believe since he's had no competitive relevance until now. For reference, since the start of Rank 2.0, Shade is the 76th most played brawler in Legendary 1 through Masters Lobby, which means he was drafted in only 0.18% of sets. Out of 89 brawlers, that is low. Initially, many including myself thought Shade was going to be good, but he never really became relevant until now. He's very fast and has potential to do up to 3,200 per shot with very fast reload speed, but the range is very short and his health points are pretty moderate. But Shade has several unique factors. He can float over water, which is great, but where Shade is special is his ability to passively charge his supers and swipe through walls. On paper, you'd think this is a really strong brawler, but until now, he hasn't shown up at all. Back to the draft, and Colonel Ruffs is the 6th pick, and to be honest, I don't know if there's an easy solution here for CR. I consulted the help of a pro player in Team Heretic Strage, and he mentioned that with Hank and Stu out of the way, Juju might be a brawler he's looking for. Juju would be able to line up shots into the single shot brawlers B and Surge, which could sometimes be a good matchup outside of maybe a Surge diving in, and on top of that, Shade can't just sit there anymore. Juju can launch long range shots at him and make sure he's not getting that super very easily. But obviously in this moment, CR are caught off guard and they only have 30 seconds to respond, which is a tall task for any pro team. The first thing that stands out to me is the patience that ZETA Division show. The whole time, they are playing for Shitampo's first super. They're just maintaining the mid, not over-aggressing, and making sure that he can get going. Once Shade gets involved, they can run away with the game. A notable part of this matchup is that the Colonel Ruff sandbags actually do really well into single-shot brawlers, for example, B and Surge on the other end. The less the sandbags can absorb their shots, the better it is going to be for ZETA Division. So instead of B or Surge taking this lane, they send Shitampo that that way, try and get in Colonel Ruff's face and prevent him from either breaking down the walls or dropping sandbags to block out B and Surge. As the set progresses, there's little that Crazy Raccoon can do to stop this. They try breaking the walls, but even if they do that, they're opening up the map so B or a high tier Surge are just going to thrive.
It really is popping the gadget there from Suzuki, who's going in, overcharging from Moya. He's getting aggressed so heavily, Soin goes down, Gems dropped and handed over to ZETA for an early countdown now. Splits across the board though, and they're considering to go for the ones there, but Suzuki gets one. They're still going to be split here. Tampo going in the aggressive now with 12 in their pocket. It's now or never going in, and I think it's going to be never really going to get to a fifth and final set unless they get this countdown reset. It's not enough.
With no easy solution, the 6th pick Colonel Ruffs isn't enough and ZETA win the set. The next set on Triple Dribble would determine who moved on to the semifinals. Once again, ZETA Division first pick B, which is common amongst pros in a safe first pick. Melody and Lou are the 2-3 turn for CR, and against most opponent strategies, this probably works. Melody was the most picked brawler in East Asia, can be aggressive, has insane mobility, and is a playmaker and goal scorer. Lou's one of the best control brawlers in the game and shuts down popular tanks. Instead of a Griff wall break to limit Lou's impact and also open up the map for B, they decide to go a different direction and once again pull out their secret weapon Shade. They pair this with Meeple, who is another brawler on the rise with the recent set of balance changes. And looking at this, what are CR supposed to do? I don't think there's an obvious answer here again. This is just a really solid draft out of ZETA Division. This is a menacing composition to face for your tournament life, and once again, when chatting with this scenario with Team Heretic Strage, he mentioned that Larry and Lori might be the solution. If you use Larry, it's going to make it more difficult once again for the single shot brawlers B and Meeple, and since you can sit behind walls safely, you can lob up reverberating shots to make it difficult for Shade to push forward or just sit there passively. CR of course have to have an answer, especially after losing to the same brawler in the previous set, and Surge is their attempt at a solution, but once again, Shitampo capitalizes. While Shade is an aggressive brawler, Shitampo takes his time. He charges his super passively and strikes when he sees an opportunity. There's no easy way for the team to eliminate Shade. He can just sit back, hide behind the walls, keep Surge at a tier 1, and charge up his super passively. With so many walls on this map, Shade can sit comfortably, cycle supers and gadgets, and get easy tags onto the enemies. By waiting, Shade isn't feeding the Surge levels, Lou ice rings, or giving Melody any chances to pop off. ZETA essentially locked Surge at tier 1 for the entire game, and I might add, this is Tensai playing this brawler, one of the best players in Brawl Stars history. But nonetheless, ZETA make it look easy, and it's wild, but Shitampo doesn't even get his first super until 40 seconds left in the first game. There are no answers to ZETA Division's comp, and at this point, it's over for CR.
And Tensai has to sprint to the other end. Moya does have a super available, but this ball is comfortable in the bottom left-hand side. Another takedown to add on to the stats, and the #1 team in East Asia will fall. ZETA Division get a marquee victory for their season.
ZETA stump their opponents and move on to the next round. After a 3-1 victory over Na'Vi in the semifinals, ZETA Division had an opportunity to get revenge against the team that took them down last month. ZETA pick up the first set and have pick 1 on pinhole punt where they lock in Lou. Reject responds with a Mr. P and a Melody. Again, Melody not that weird, and Mr. P a very good brawler, but I will touch that it can be a little tricky in Brawl Ball since it's one of his weaker modes, and opponents can just get really aggressive or really tanky on you and make it difficult for Mr. P to defend himself. ZETA quickly selects Shade. Ruffs and Surge have not been effective at dealing with him, so Reject have to find a different solution. To me, this is another tricky spot, because if they go another control brawler, they're going to get run over, projectile brawlers get weird into the Buster, and if they go something like a thrower, sure they can land the shots, but they're playing a beefy composition and now a Buster and a Shade. Once again, Shade makes things difficult to draft into, and Reject go Frank. Frank can tear down the walls, which can make things much more difficult for Shade and Buster, leaving them in the open with limited range. But ZETA Division paired their composition with Lou, a designated tank counter who's going to be able to dress the Frank perfectly. With another great composition revolving around Shade, ZETA Division win at a rapid rate.
Deliver any goods anyway, and then goal in the first 10 seconds from ZETA. That kind of stuff, you know?
Well, welcome in. I guess they just walked one in, and now Shitampo off to the races here in the middle of the map, pierces through the walls. Shu going to be taking a lot of heat right now. Goes down, and honestly, he can shoot through walls, so that porter's going to be useless. Levi wide open net, and 28 seconds. Yep, folks, you saw that right. 28 seconds is how quickly ZETA Division just won a game. Melty had a chance to stomp, but he didn't. Didn't have enough in the tank there, and now Shitampo once again off the middle of the map, already cycling another super, bullying Shu in his spawn, and Levi just one walking it up, the fastest set of the year. It has to be GG. It's going to be Zeta Division with a speed run.
Another beautifully played draft by Zeta Division, and they speedrun their way through the set in a blistering 1 minute and 3 seconds, which might be the fastest set I've ever casted. On to set 3, which is Layer Cake, and so far we've seen Shade win 3 times with Zeta Division, and once again they'll bring out their secret weapon. Kit Ollie is an awesome combination, but Zeta Division were a step ahead. They felt comfortable drafting Shade as their 6th overall pick and continued their dominant Grand Finals performance. Shade is able to pressure enemies, cycle supers, and if in trouble, stays in and out of walls.
We should have known better, Art. The guy that can go through walls with the best mechanical play in the world. We should have known better. We should have known that this guy would be unbelievable with this. He's been so good in the past, and now they're just steamrolling their way through this set. 11-0. Shu and his teammates don't even have a star. Kid separates. Now Ollie left all by himself. Suzuku hypnotized, but can just get in this guy. Doesn't even need it. A hypercharge being dropped, and now they're just 1 star away. Shitampo stretching and just waiting. Goes for the gadget, and it's a 100% win rate for Shade. And most importantly, Shitampo and his teammates, they're going to be taking monthly finals number 2.
The whole team performed well, but being able to draft a brawler that no team has an answer for was the difference maker. I'm not saying to play Shade everywhere, but hey, clearly there's something here, and I know I'm inspired to get better at Shade after this incredible performance. Moments like these are the reason why Brawl Esports is so cool. Every month, you never know what you're gonna see. Thanks for watching, and be sure to like the video if you enjoyed. With that said, we'll see y'all in the next one.